Hello, and welcome to the world of kobolds. My name is Regan, and I am an historian in the infamous city of Kirkkeep. My job is to take notes about all who lives inside, outside, beneath, and above the city. Kirkkeep is the only city found in the mountain range of Kher Ridges. Kher Ridges makes home to many a nasty creature, like yetis, trolls, rocks, and dragons, who dwells with their treasure hoards deep inside the mountains. It is not a heartwarming and friendly part of the world, and that is probably why the gods have placed Kher Ridges as the last defense for the civilized world against the ice desert and the savages from the north. Sometimes wizards from other places visits Kirkkeep, mainly because they have heard rumors of great riches and treasures that should be kept in secret walls below the city. These rumors are of course not true. Everyone living in this city are plain folks with different backgrounds. Maybe this thing about riches comes from the idea that most of the humanoid population are thought of as renegades and criminals whom have left the more civilized places on Earth and have brought their loot and other possessions with them. Those are naturally just rumors. But still, it happens that a wizard brings his magic to these outskirts of the world, where he tries to smoke out the citizens and their household and invades with his hordes. That is where I come in the picture. I make the battle plan for the defenses of Kirkkeep, and it is quite simple. Everybody above ground flee into the sewers beneath the city, hide in the catacombs specifically made for siege attacks. Now we let the kobolds and their tricks trick the attacker down in their tunnel system, where they will weaken the enemy bit by bit until the enemy army has either surrendered, been diminished and fled, or simply has lost their tracking and are crawling through endless tunnels until they die of hunger. Kobolds are extreme tunnel diggers. That is their main objective in life. Dig tunnels, find metals and precious and pretty stones. This is also why they are tolerated in many larger cities, as they can be paid for digging sewer systems and aqueducts. Unfortunately, some city councils forget about the kobolds they have hired, and then the trouble starts. You don't want bored kobolds in your city, and even less bored kobolds who feels negligited. That means trouble. Back to Kirkkeep, where we have made agreements between the kobolds and the rest of the city. They can sell their goods from the underground, and they can even get to steal stuff to bring with them down below. If a citizen loses things this way, they can seek a compensation at the city council to balance out their loss. That is the cost for having an underground, well-prepared army of kobolds ready at any time to lure the infidels into their lair of endless tunnels filled with hundreds, maybe thousands of traps of all different kinds. So let's see if we can make this story into a tribal deck of old school cards. First, we have the meekly kobolds of Kirkkeep. 0 casting cost, 0/1 creature who's absolutely useless unless you have other kobolds to support it, or you can sacrifice it so that it can die in battle and get the chance to be reborn as a dragon instead of a kobold. See, that is the way of the kobold. Die in the name of the cause to keep this tribe alive and get the chance to become a dragon once re-egged. I brought in an ornithopter to show how a kobold brain functions. If you can't be a shivan dragon, at least you can look like one. So kobolds like to dress themselves with homemade wings made of sticks and leather hide. Sometimes they actually functions and make a kobold get the satisfaction of some kind of flying. They might die in the landing, but the expression from other kobolds is enough to make the dragon kobold die with a smile on its face. Then we have 4 kobold drill sergeants. They enter the battle. They are a 1/2 creature with a casting cost of 1 red and 1 colorless mana, and they have the special ability to give all other kobolds a +0/+1 and trample, which could seem pretty insignificant, and you're right, but they're kobolds, and one of the things you have to understand about kobolds, it is their strength to be many. Then there will be 4 kobold taskmasters. Here they are. Kobold taskmasters joining the other kobolds. Taskmasters are the encouraging kobolds of the tribe. They inspire and give other kobolds +1/+0. Often the encouragement is based on whipping and yelling, but that is their job and they are good at it. Back in the headquarters of the kobolds, you find 2 kobold overlords. They make sure that all of the kobold works at their best abilities in their environment and gives every kobold in the tribe first strike. So much for the kobolds right now, but they have associates they can count on, and here are some of them who made it into this deck. The Roc of Kher Ridges, the guardian of the city and one of the nesting neighbors. Everyday guards help the roc keep an eye on their eggs, and in return the roc helps out if bigger threats threaten the area. Sometimes a roc gets to eat a guard, but that's how nature works. Sometimes it happens that an egg is not just an ordinary kobold egg. They are bigger and harder to crack, and as long as it's an egg, it is +0/+3, nesting on the ground. But when it happens and the egg hatches, the city rejoices because they have got themselves a rook, a huge bird-like creature, +4/+4 flying. Just sometimes when a kobold egg hatches, the biggest thing that a kobold colony can ever expect to happen, happens. One of the kobolds hatches as a dragon whelp. It's a +2/+3 with the ability to boost its breath weapon. It is a day for celebration in the kobold tribe when they get to parent their own dragon. If an army is threatening the whole countryside and everything seems lost, then there's only one hope. Someone is running for the shivan dragon, a grumpy old male dragon, +5/+5 with the ability to boost the dragon breath. He withdrew to Kher Ridges to seek peace and quiet. That is the thing that makes the great worm move. Someone who disturbs the peace on the mountainside. The last of the defending army is Keldon the Warlord. He's a +1/+1, whom blossoms as the overwhelming army of kobolds rules the battlefield, and loses composure as the kobolds loses terrain, +1/+1 for every creature he controls on the battlefield. I'll just put these in place. It looks a little nicer. Sometimes a kobold sorcerer hits the big spell and he is able to make a ball lightning. It's like an electric generator who takes out a leader or a wizard. Because they are on home turf, we'll put in 2 gauntlets of might to strengthen the red creatures and the mana base. That's what you get from playing on home soil. The tunnels of the kobolds are like mazes, and therefore mazes are fit to control and lure the enemy. Kobolds work in the dark, and they're strengthened by the blood moon, and often the enemy is weakened by the blood moon. There will be bloodlust. When you corner a kobold, there's a risk that it will jump in your face, risking it all. Forks, because they have more where it came from, or they steal from their opponent if it is there for the taking. Three lightning bolt, chain lightnings. A master trap made by the kobolds. Sometimes it backfires, but it's not that bad, says the kobolds. The kobold clerics has an altar, an Ashnods altar, and they will do whatever it takes to make it a win for the tribe, to power whatever the gods find it good to power from sacrifice. Lightning bolts. As long as we're in the mountains, a kobold sorcerer can always find answers to his problems. And fireballs. There's nothing like an oil-soaked corridor and a match. Fire breathing. Sometimes a kobold inherits the ability to fire breathe from their great forefathers. Ideally they get wings too, but that's very unlikely. Chaos orb. When you just let a trap spring and bury an enemy asset. And of course, a wheel of fortune. When your clerics have offered the right things and pleased the gods, you might get lucky to refuel your spells. Sometimes you will play kobolds as aggro, but they might also just sit back and wait and make a huge attack or sacrifice for a killing blow. The mana base. The mana base consists of 4 Mithras factories, strip mine. For this build it's a Mox Ruby, but it could also be a Felvar stone, and 17 basic mountains. If you want to build a sideboard, there are so many possibilities. You could use red blasts. Maybe you could put in some discs if you're afraid of circle of protection. Land destruction, artifact destruction, or even fuel your deck with more creatures. You can actually put in a lot of red stuff. I myself put in more firepower, more creature destruction, some land destruction, some red blasts, an extra blood moon, artifact removal too. So many options for the sideboard. But that was all from the kobold colony right now. Thank you for watching. Bye.